AOH here. I've got a question for you. Is it cool to be street or not? Is it cool to be hard or not? Because the influencers, the people on TV, the people on our media, they don't seem to be able to make up their minds. One minute they're saying, "Oh yeah, we like the violence. Let them go at each other. Oh, we should let players fight it out more." I'm glad I didn't say anything about this whole Ja Morant thing right away because now we have Skip and Shannon coming out, and they previously had just absolutely annihilated Morant for his behavior. Today, the only thing that matters is the technicalities, the legality of it. So the only thing that matters is whether or not by law Morant could have been carrying a gun and whether or not the police are justified in investigating. What happened to the message that it sends? What happened to the stupid behavior? So we're back to carrying a gun in a nightclub, on a plane, however else whatever means he had to access it is cool. I mean, it's a gun loving fucking country. So maybe a lot of you do think that's great. It's fucking stupid. It's really, really stupid. The other day, Shannon Sharp couldn't stop talking about how you needed to conduct yourself in a certain way. Shannon Sharp was guilty only a few weeks before that of trying to act hard. It wasn't just that he talked trash and pretended like he wanted to fight. It was afterwards he was saying all that shit that people say, "You don't know me. You don't know what I'm about." As if that means I'm from a place where we learn to kill people. You know, I know how to throw down and I know how to get it done. And I will end you if you cross the line with me. Okay. So I guess it's cool then. It's cool to be a tough guy. Is that even what being tough means? Like being willing to end someone else's life over a dispute? I'm seriously, that's what it's coming down to. The last time I got in a legit fight on a basketball court, kid walked off saying he was gonna go get his gun. Uh, man, I grew up where when you had a problem with somebody, you had to face the music right then and there, and you either decided it was worth going to blows or you didn't. And sometimes you delivered more blows than you took. Sometimes it was the other way around. But you didn't sit at home and tweet and tweet and tweet or get on your podcast and talk shit back and forth the way now Brooks and Draymond Green are doing until one of you ends up shot mysteriously. Fucking cowards. Fucking cowards. You know what? Maybe these guys do need to go and fight. Maybe they need a little punching match. I mean, which is it? Because half the time I'm listening to announcers say, there's too much violence. These guys need to conduct themselves in a different way. Stop trying to fight. And the other half of the time, they're making fun of them because they don't look like they know how to fight, and they should be cooler because being cool would mean that you know how to drop somebody. Which message are you sending to the people at home? Are you uncool because you don't know how to land a haymaker and knock someone out? Or are you uncool because you are willing to behave in that manner on live television over being disrespected? And I got to tell you, people think that they're disrespected all the time now. Everything is worth fighting about. Everything is fucking worth fighting about. For God's sakes, can these divas on television, can they just get through a few plays before thinking that they need to front, before they need to get in the other person's face? And the guys who make the play, well, you were supposed to make that play. Don't go and talk trash afterward. This still might be the ultimate example. It might really showcase the point I'm trying to get across. And it was Chris Paul last year. And I've wanted to talk about this. First of all, is there anyone in the league that you would be less afraid of fighting than Chris Paul. So you don't see Chris Paul talking a whole lot. But during that incident in Dallas where somebody apparently laid hands on his mom, he decided to get tough afterward and talk trash and say, I'll see you outside, or I'll be waiting for you outside. I don't have a problem with somebody being upset about their mom being harassed. I have a problem with how brave Chris Paul got after he saw who he was talking trash to, which was like a 13, 14-year-old boy. And can I also say that this whole phrase, laying hands on, what a convenient way to make something that might have been nothing sound like it was horrible. I just feel like it probably wasn't that bad. On the other hand, who knows? It could have been some real scumbags, super annoying. But I'm guessing that the laying hands on wasn't much more than a tap on the shoulder. Otherwise, this would have been blown up bigger. But Chris Paul saw that it was a skinny little teenager with his mom. And then he really went off. If that was like, for some reason, some gigantic Hell's Angels in Dallas at a game, I don't know why they'd be at a game, but I just don't think Chris Paul would have reacted the same, you know? I'm not trying to defend those people. Look, it was Dallas. I would feel unsafe in Dallas. So, word of advice, Chris Paul, it was Mother's Day. Buy your mom a box seat or buy out the entire row of seats or something. The Chris Paul thing, I don't know. In some ways, it's a great example. In some ways, it's a terrible example because the fact that there was family involved, a mom involved, people immediately think that anything is justified. So it kind of distorts the entire idea. So let me ask you this. Okay, so it is his mom. His mom got harassed at the game. So let's say Chris Paul does see that kid later, like he threatened to, and he does follow through on his threat. Are we going to applaud that, or are we going to condemn that? Which is it? Less distorted than involving a mom. Let's just focus on the NBA players talking trash to each other every game, and sometimes talking like serious trash and trying to, act like they're from the streets. Like Shannon Sharpe was saying, hey, Ja, don't act like you're from the streets. Well, Shannon, are you from the streets? But the fact that I'm asking, are you from the streets, sounds like you're trying to make it into the cool club. Because if you're from the streets, somehow that is an accolade. That is a good thing. Don't act like you're street, Ja. Well, Shannon, don't act like you're street either, unless you think it's a good thing. Should people behave that way? Look, if Ja had a really, really rough upbringing, other than apparently he had a pretty nice upbringing. I don't know the full details, but that's what's being revealed. Does that justify acting a certain way later in life? This is the whole LeBron and the new era and the whole woke people and woe is me and my life was terrible. As long as you can find something to complain about and say that I was the victim, now you get to be an asshole. Now you get to be a prick. Now you get to kill somebody. Now you get to jump somebody. Now you get to throw down because you had a history of some kind or other. I mean, is that really what you're saying? The only people who aren't allowed to be violent are people who had a privileged upbringing. So we don't judge people's actions anymore as long as they had an excuse. Back to these players. Are you going to be happy when these players that get really escalated actually follow through and hurt each other outside of the arena? And this is a serious question, because I bet you some of you are saying, yes, yeah, I want to see that happen. And others of you are like, no, that would really be terrible. Let's make it two big dudes, two guys the same size. Let's make it the same race so we don't have to bring that into it. And they meet each other after the game, and one of them ends up dead, or one of them ends up in the hospital. Did he keep it real? Or did he set a bad example? Look, somewhere embedded in our culture is this idea that hurting other people does make you cool. And it's less and less cool to turn the other cheek or to be the bigger man by walking away. That hardly exists anymore. I don't know what the hell happened with Shawn Kemp. Shawn Kemp is involved in a drive-by at this stage in his life. But now I look at this young man, Ja Morant, and why is it cool? Why does he feel like it's cool to flash a gun or talk trash or do other things that portray him as being, hard or from the streets? And, when people say that they're representing and other people are like, he represents, well, that's not a negative term. If you're a representative, that means that you are adored by the community that you're representing, whoever that may be. So obviously, on some level, it's cool to be violent when you represent being hard. We're just wishy-washy. We're all over the place, and whether or not that's acceptable or not. 1 minute it's cool, 1 minute it's despicable behavior. I mean, listen to the music. The fucking shit that is thumping out the windows, and the lyrics, the hateful lyrics, the wannabe hard lyrics in this music right before people hop out of those same cars and then start hooping. No wonder everybody's ready to talk shit. All they listened to was shit talking the whole way to the basketball court. Now I'm getting myself confused because I was going to show this clip of Shannon Sharpe to make fun of him because he tried to act hard at the airport and call out a dude that was filming him. And the person filming him didn't flinch. And so Shannon was reduced to just walking away.
Bro, really?
Yeah.
Why?
Why not?
And I was going to be like, hey, yeah, that's about as tough as Shannon Sharpe gets. But on the other hand, what if he comes after someone who's filming him and like throws some blows or pushes them? I mean, is that a good thing either? It gets all warped and confusing. I'm more concerned about his dog. He looks like he tranquilizes his dog or puts it on some meds or something.